Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chair League. This is your host, Jayzon. So nice of you guys to be joining us here. Apologies for the overlay here. Give me just one moment to update this. We've got a new draft system here in Chair League. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it. Gonna take some getting used to, no doubt. As we do have our Division 1 match here tonight, Sky5 versus I Like Your Smile. Very nice names. This should be a good one. Can't resize this up a bit. Now this is definitely gonna take some getting used to here. I see. All right, so I may or may not have to adjust this again. Make sure everybody got their links in here. Can't get cleaned up for you guys. All right. Yeah, I'll have to adjust that a little bit more afterwards. This is, again, I apologize for not being completely ready to go here. This was a brand new concept that we're working with here. Oh, did I feel like I might be missing something? Okay, yeah, we are going. But I do not appear to be seeing everything. Oh, this is odd. Server. Yeah, the pics aren't showing up, but the bands showed up just fine. Well, we saw that Tyrael and Samuru, yeah, we're gonna be the bands to start out. It's not working. I'm gonna see about maybe because it seems, well, maybe it could just be the overlay UI not functioning. Let me also try it in a different. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna try this out real quick. There we go. Not perfect, but we will live with it. We will survive. Good job, team. Yeah, different browser worked. All right. Well, I guess we're not gonna do that one on Internet Explorer anymore. The last one didn't like Google Chrome, and this one doesn't like Internet Explorer. So we got it all fixed. So Tyrael and Samuru, the first two ban outs. Malfurion picked up for the side of Sky5. The response, the Tychus. So right away, trying to sniff out, maybe pressure Sky5 into that Zarya pick, not wanting to pick it up. They go ahead and get Tychus. They get ETC, so they're going to get one of their favorite frontline tanks, maybe trying to force Sky5 into a little bit of a tank chokehold with trying to allow them to pick up Zarya. We've seen that quite often lately, where Zarya has been a really priority pick, and you almost have to go double tank with her. So if you pick up Tychus and just let yourself not get Zarya, we've been seeing some interesting play with that. Falstad, also a nice pickup for Sky5. Gotta love the global here. But that Malfurion pick is going to be really, really strong for them. Malfurion, an extremely strong healer right now. Li Ming and Uther are going to be the ban outs here. So Sky5 making sure that I Like Your Smile can't go for that Divine Mosh. And Li Ming also the ban out there for the side of I Like Your Smile, not wanting to see Falstad and Li Ming on the other side. And that makes a lot of sense as they pick up Ariel here, going for the sustained healing, where Li Ming can just blow right through some of those Ariel heals to be able to burst somebody down. So gonna ban out him, and Alarak will be the pickup here for the side of I Like Your Smile, going with that double front line of Alarak and ETC. That's a lot of CC in your front line. Good solid damage dealer. Tychus also really, really nice for being able to feed Ariel's energy to be able to get the heals out in those team fights here on Towers of Doom, which makes a lot of sense. And a good solid start here to this draft for both of these teams. Johanna going to be the pickup, so they are indeed going to go with that double tank style, even in the face of that Tychus. They are not worried about it at this point. YOLO, says Sky5. They're going to trust in the Zarya shields and the Malfurion heal over time to be able to keep them alive through that Tychus pressure. Who is going to be their last pick is the question, though. With two frontliners, you would think it would be either a siege specialist or a ranged auto attacker. But they do pretty much have the entire world open to them, and at this point they do have a little bit of time left still, 20 seconds to decide what they want here. You certainly don't want too much more HP on the other side against a Tychus. He's already, I feel like, a pretty powerful pick in this situation with them having Johanna and Zarya, so it is going to be Sylve. They are going to elect for that siege pressure indeed. And last pick here for the side of I Like Your Smile. Alarak being in that front line, he's not so much a bruiser as really a true assassin. He's good at shutting people down with that silence and getting a lot done while they are silenced. But if he gets caught out and CC'd, he's really, really in trouble. But there's not a whole lot that can really completely shut him down other than the Malfurion and Sylvanas ults. So those are pretty long cooldowns. Twilight Dream as well as Wailing Arrow. So not a whole lot that can really shut him down completely. So they are going to go double support with Tyrande. Tyrande, a very strong pick on this map. She's got fantastic denial for those altar turn-ins, and can do it from a very, very long range and poke out with both Lunar Flare and Owl. Also solid sustained healing contributions to go with Ariel. Can also really aid in building up a lot of energy very quickly when she throws on that mark on somebody, when Tychus is just bringing them down really, really fast. And good CC potential going with ETC. The two of them together, even with those CC. Long ago, we had that patch that reduced a lot of the CC durations. That hurt the ETC Tyrande combo because it's a little bit more difficult to hit that combo consistently. But we do still see it from time to time, and it does work out for a lot of people. And it just is a little bit higher skill cap to actually get there. But it does look like we are loading in here on Towers of Doom, very close to it, I should say. 9 of 10 players in here. As far as who won the draft here, I really like I Like Your Smile's draft choices at this point. They have a lot of presence and a lot of pressure on those points when it comes down to team fighting. They've got a good solid team for being able to take care of that front line, to be able to catch somebody out. But you can't understate the dramatic healing potential of Malfurion right now, with Falstad and Sylvanas in those back lines being able to safely deal damage behind Zarya and Johanna. Sky5 also has a pretty strong group for being able to push in on a point themselves. So still definitely anybody's game. I don't feel like either team lost it in the draft at this point. And we are indeed loading in. Let me go ahead and get us all set up here. On the left, we do have Sky5. It is going to be Sumo on Sylvanas, my good old buddy Sumo Zuki, one of the better casters here in Chair League, going to be playing that Sylvanas. Lyolena on Malfurion, Agrippa playing Johanna, Apple Mike playing Zarya, and Quan Finnegan? It's playing Falstad. On the right, we have I Like Your Smile, Supreme Force on Tychus, I'm going to go with Juice on Alarak, Rio on ETC, Amon on Tyrande, and Defender is going to be playing Ariel. I've really been afraid of Alarak lately. He's been a force to be reckoned with, I think, in a lot of groups in a lot of ways. Give me just 1 second to turn that down just a touch, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Towers of Doom, really solid map here on Heroes. One of the most creative maps I think that Blizzard's come up with the concept of the core health and the altars. It does look like 5, 4, not electing for too much Sylvanas cheese over on the side of Sky5 just yet. They are going to send Sylv to that top lane. Sumo already on his way there, but will be met by Juice on the way up to that lane. While in the mid, it does look like Sky5 is just going to wait for somebody to poke their head out to see where they want to go. But yeah, full on caution mode here for Sky5, not wanting to get caught out by that ridiculous CC combo in Malfurion, or I should say ETC, Tyrande, and Alarak. Even Ariel has good solid CC potential, and very patient is Sky5 here, being very patient about rotating, soaking, and they are going to catch all of the soak. They're not going to lose any of it, but not wanting to engage here. They realize that they do not have the stronger level 1, that it's very easy for them to get caught out in these rotations if they step a little bit too far forward. And Sumo very passively soaking this lane, making sure to not get too close into Juice. Gets hit by that one ranged ability there, but nothing too ridiculous, and just trying to avoid the big abilities, the silences and such. But does get dragged in there. Actually does get hit with the combo from Juice there, and you can see that chunked Sumo down pretty hard. Meanwhile, in this middle lane, a little bit of a push back in from Sky5. We do see I Like Your Smile having a very strong rotate group here. This 3-man is rotating around and getting the XP, but both teams, getting the XP here, not losing out on soak. Juan can stay down here to go ahead and soak this bottom lane, and has the option to go up or just stay down here and maybe try and dual Tychus for the strong rotation by I Like Your Smile to go ahead and get in position here. They are not going to be late for this tribute at all. They're even going to be able to seek into the mid a little bit. It does look like these teams are going to be oh, but the huge block there. Nice job by Agrippa being able to block Amon from being able to actually interrupt that cast. It's going to allow them to fully rotate here to help out Quan. Rio maybe looking for a little bit of a slide out here, seeing if he can catch anybody out. Amon's going to miss on that Lunar Flare early here, but it will be back up soon. And we're going to start to see these two teams start to poke down here in this bottom one. Both teams have very good sustain. The question is, who's going to be able to get the positioning, maybe get a pick here. A nice two-man slide there by Rio is going to result in Johanna getting instantly blown up from that CC chain. And that, even a Johanna cannot stand up to that combination of CC and the mark. There's a lot of burst damage potential in Alarak. You give him somebody who he can just sit there, not have to worry about the damage coming back, and that mark on them, and it's just too fast. And you know, I can't understate Tychus's ability to aid in that takedown when that mark is out. It's just devastating. We do see these teams rotating back out to lane. Little bit of an XP advantage for I Like Your Smile thus far. It does look like they're winning a little bit in the soak battle, as well as the kill battle, and the aggression coming out from I Like Your Smile. They go ahead and go down. They're going to steal that camp and get double camp push here on bottom. That is going to result in one of those towers pretty much instantly going down, and this one's going to turn around eventually and throw itself on into the wall. Rio doing a nice job of actually taking down that wall before one of the sappers targeted it, and that's going to be the entire front wall in that bottom lane. All of a sudden, it's an entire level lead for the side of I Like Your Smile, doing some nice work down here in the bottom lane. Solid rotation, and but Alarak is going to get taken down in the top lane, so a nice return gank there from Quan, but he's got to get out of here, man. He does not have the mobility after that fly-in. Well, a little extra mobility, but we'll be able to get out safe. The rotation, not quite as aggressive as I thought it might be, to be honest with you. After that rotation into that camp, I was expecting some heavy rotation there, but slight lead here for I Like Your Smile, both in level and core health. But right away, they're going to lay a ton of damage here on Rio, but I don't know if that's the target that you really want to be going after. They're going to try and zone out here. It's going to be close, but Malfurion does not get that cast off. Rio getting very deep in here, but does get some nice damage out. Juice casting that in the back, so they have already picked up theirs on that right side, but they do continue to contest here, and Agrippa is going to go down in the bottom of this team fight. Supreme Force able to chase him down with that constant AA ability of Tychus, and they are going to start zoning them out here. It's going to be a rough defense here, but however, Apple Mike can just... I take it back, because Apple Mike can just poke that out 4 days. Actually misses on that one, and Amon will get the cap. And all of a sudden, I Like Your Smile doing a very nice job of being able to control the early game. Not always the biggest deal on Towers of Doom. Towers of Doom is one of the easiest maps to be able to come back in the late game if you have a strong team fighting team. So nothing that Sky5 has to really worry about here. But they do need to make sure to not fall too far behind on level. They're still nearly a full level behind, which is really a huge disadvantage. Juice face checking here, walks right in the middle of that camp capture attempt, but not quite in time is that root from Malfurion. After that nerf, it does not drop instantly anymore, so they aren't able to do anything with that. Meanwhile, Quan looking for it here. It does look like they're going to try. And, oh, a nice movement there by Juice, being able to get himself out of harm's way with that, I forget the name of that phasing ability, but very nice little dash there to be able to get out of harm's way. Even poking at Apple Mike a little bit, giving him the business, if you will. They're even going to come back in on him here. Maybe getting a little fed up with his stuff, and that is going to get him very low, and the phase is going to get him almost out, but they go in deep for that. With Sumo being able to shut down that tower, they're able to do that, but the real story here in the bottom lane, while they're doing that, we do see I Like Your Smile rotating, being able to get that bottom bell tower. They're also going to steal the camp here. They're going to start pressuring. The top bell tower does go down to the side of Sky5, with being able to get that Sylvanas clear, and level 10s have been picked up here. We do see it's Draken Laser Drill for Tychus, of course. It is going to be Counter Strike for our Alarak. Stage Dive coming out along with Starfall, so interesting picks there. It is going to be Tranquility for Malfurion. Meanwhile, it does look like Defender is going to get this one for free on bottom. They're going to elect to clean up the camp. Wisely going to clean up that camp and try and take back this bell tower. Sylvanas still holding that pick. I would imagine it has to be Wailing Arrow, but I suppose it doesn't have to be. But that's the normal pick. It is going to be Gravitation Surge, of course, for our Zarya player here. Apple Mike gonna look to be pulling people in. Quick clear there, and they are going to start rotating right away. They have picked up most of the XP loss here. Have the side of Sky5, and they're gonna press into this really, really hard. They're gonna actually, so we're gonna see the global stage dive hero ETC staying up in the top, and we probably will see the stage dive coming out as soon as this, in case this gets a little bit ugly, and it is. They are gonna stage dive. Rio getting in here a little bit too deep, though. I think the rest of the team was not ready to come back. Wailing Arrow comes out along with Starfall, but neither one getting a whole lot of value. However, the pull-in from Juice is going to catch Malfurion, but a nice, solid gust there from Quan to be able to help Lyolena get out of trouble there. Nice defensive gust. And right now, that does look like that's gonna result in both teams just walking away from the situation. They are able to defend that bottom keep from going down, but it completely pulled everybody off of the concept of recapturing this top one. So that's just going to allow the side of Sky5 to rotate to the mid and take down that front wall, softening it up so later they can come back in. We're seeing the Sylvanas choice there, that last draft pick for them really coming into play here. Electing to go with the Siege Specialist to be able to pressure these towers instead of that extra AA damage that they may have gotten from a Vala or Lunara type pick, but paying off dividends for them right now, as they do still control more of these. Both teams right on the precipice of getting level 13, so we're going to see a very, very patient I Like Your Smile. They're going to try and poke this out to give ETC time to do this, but he is going to stage dive on in. Rio getting very, very far out, though, is going to have to receive the Aegis pretty early, but the Starfall getting a lot of value, and Apple Mike is going to be the first to fall here to that Draken Laser Drill. The healing potential of the Tranquility not enough to keep him up, and a very, very nice effort there from the side of I Like Your Smile, going in deep, getting the job done right off the bat, saving Rio when he got a little bit isolated with that Crystal Aegis. Starfall getting tons and tons of value along with the drill. Really, really great team fighting from the side of I Like Your Smile. They've been dominating it here in the first half of this match, and it's showing on the scoreboard. 36-17 at this point. I still wouldn't put Sky5 out of this. Towers of Doom is one of those maps where you just never really know what's actually going to happen. But here they come. They are rotating. They are out-rotating and getting the siege potential here. We are going to see the full 5-man rotate to be able to aid in the push of those pumpkin sappers, but ultimately they don't really have the ability to siege as well. And we see the full 5-man rotate. Sky5 just not really caring what's going on here. Rio is going to get caught in a nice route there from Malfurion, but here comes the stage dive. They are not giving up on this. They're going in full. Quan gets isolated a little bit, but a very nice gust to be able to push them out, and they're just going to walk away once again, using that to their advantage. Juice not ready to give up, though. A nice whip into the wall after that phase is going to proc that Tranquility to come out. They can actually turn on this if they elect to, but it looks like they're still in full retreat mode. No Falstad here with them, so they are going to back off. Meanwhile, we do have the triple altar phase spawning. No huge advantage for either team. Level 15 right around the corner for I Like Your Smile, but certainly both teams will be on the same talent here for this. Rio looking for, just waiting there to see if Quan was going to face check that bush, but bit of a safe rotation going around the edges at least to be able to stay out of range of Juice, and that we do see the right away Defender doing a nice job getting in there and casting that. Is going to be able to come over, and in the bottom lane, Tychus versus Falstad will be raging on, but Agrippa going in deep to be able to get a nice condemn out, but is going to end up paying for it with a lot of damage and quite possibly the life, but that silence misses. Rio going in really deep to try and get Agrippa. Meanwhile, in the bottom, Quan is going to win that 1v1, but the stage dive is going to be enough to get down there and win that fight for them at least, but they are going to have to back up here in the top. Wailing Arrow completely whiffing as the silence comes out to be able to keep Sumo from detonating that Wailing Arrow before it hit that max range and went harmlessly by. And yet again, a serious advantage taken there from I Like Your Smile. They don't have as many of these bell towers, but they've been winning enough of the altars that they continue to win the game through team fighting. And at this point, they do get 1 to Sky5, so it ends up being a 5-for-6 exchange on that altar phase. And here comes the pressure yet again. But eventually they're going to have to take a team fight. That's going to be the only way they're really going to be able to do this for real. A nice cleanse coming out there to try and get Agrippa out of this situation. And the Gust also gonna do a nice job. Even the Owl is going to hit, but Johanna so tanky. As long as it's got that heal over time from Malfurion, you really got to get on top of a Johanna, able to escape that situation. Both teams going to go ahead and rotate and take their sapper camps for now. Level 16 has been picked up here for I Like Your Smile with a small moment of advantage. They're choosing to use it to go ahead and take their camp. But here comes the rotation. They are rotating in here pretty hard as Sky5 pretty far out to get that. But nice stacking there to be able to get a lot of AoE heals from Defender. And oh man, the blow-ups there as they just take that front line out in the middle of that. Normally you wouldn't want to see teams stack up, but in that situation, with the AoE heal potential of Defender there on Ariel, you get a lot of value of having the team stacked up, and that's how they did that. It was a little bit of a problem in the early fight. It looked like that they were going to get if there was a wombo combo, it looked like that could have happened, but ultimately that was not the case. They were able to over-sustain that due to the AoE heal potential, and very, very nice work there. Meanwhile, they are gonna take that top altar, or I should say the middle altar. They're gonna choose to get back that tower. Very nice move to get that one of those points back. Be able to score 3 here on this second set of shots. But full rotation. Sky5 is not giving up on their PvE strategy. They are just going after the siege potential in this. They are going to get collapsed on once again, but Agrippa is going to be able to scout this out at least for them this time. But it actually looks like they are going to back off that rotation. They're going to choose to take back the mid instead. Wanting to make sure to keep up on them at least. Down to 2 points, though, are the side of Sky5. They got a very, very long way to go before they can realistically win this one. Very safe, very passive rotation all the way around to the bottom lane, avoiding vision, so nice, solid job by them. They're actually going to invade this camp, which is going to be scouted out by that Owl. The full rotation is here, other than ETC, but he can always stage dive in, and there it is. Actually going to choose to slide out of that situation after the camp had already been taken, but it does look like they're going to elect to defend this one in the bottom lane. They're not going to give this for free to Sky5. They're actually going to be able to clean up this camp before it does any damage to this bell tower. And right now, the side of Sky5 being very passive. They do not want to fight against I Like Your Smile right now. They are just in full backup mode. You know, and who can blame them, really? No Tranquility, no Twilight Dream also, which I feel like in that AoE stack would make all the difference with the way that I Like Your Smile has been stacking up for those Ariel heals. But I think now that they realize they have Tranquility, you know, no real reason to fear. Meanwhile, Here comes the collapse. Agrippa completely caught out there. Is going to be blown up, but they are going to be able to exchange him for Alarak at this point. This is the team fight that they really needed to be able to take, and they lay down a ton of AoE damage there. But they do end up exchanging just 1 for 1. Rio also sliding in. We're going to see the drill come out, which is going to be able to deal a lot of damage to Sumo, but Apple Mike is getting pretty low. Is going to have to back up in that situation, but will end up going down from the chase potential and the damage potential there. Rio doing a nice job, and the stun is going to come out from Amon, able to stall that out. Meanwhile, the stage dive coming out is going to isolate these guys. It is going to be a 4v3. Make that 4v2 as Malfurion goes down and no heals left. And they will exchange there, but Sumo, the only one left, is going to go down. And that is going to be it. The full team ace. I Like Your Smile. Gonna take it here on Towers of Doom over Sky5. Very solid game coming out from I Like Your Smile. Sky5 had a strategy to be able to go around PvE and be able to take those bell towers down very efficiently. But ultimately, I Like Your Smile won it where it counted on the altars. They team fought like crazy to be able to isolate those frontliners, and we see it in the numbers. 4 deaths and 3 deaths from those 2 frontliners, and with Tychus, that's just kind of the thing. Teams that don't want to play Zarya right now have just been picking up Tychus and running with it. And I think that that's a really, really solid strategy. We saw a ton of harass going out on those heroes all game. Top hero damage in the entire match for Supreme Force there on Tychus. And, able to get through those Malfurion heals enough times. And just really solid play coming out from them. They were able to get a lot of value out of that strategy of being able to CC somebody, isolate them, and take them down with that Hunter's Mark. And the denial was just completely ridiculous for the side of I Like Your Smile. They just never let up. They didn't let they let very few altars get away from them in that match. So we're looking at the talents a little bit here. We'll start with Rio going with Block Party. We've seen a lot of this, especially for teams that tend to stack up like what you'd want to do with Ariel. Be able to get the extra block, the increased face melts, range, and knockback. Echo Pedal coming out for the extra damage to minions and mercenaries. Stage Dive, which got a lot of value there. Rio being able to split push, split soak a little bit. ETC doesn't have very good lane clear, but anytime you have a global, something you can take advantage of is at least split soaking a lane, and then he can always just come right into the middle of the fight with Stage Dive. Buffing the face melt, imposing presence to slow the auto attackers over there, Sylv and Falstad. Never got a chance to see what he was going to pick up at 20, but a lot of options for ETC. Ariel going with the Searing Light, going to get some extra damage out on the enemy when it's hit. So when you expect that you're going to have a couple of frontliners that are constantly in there in the face of your frontliners, and you want to drop those heals off on them, Searing Light can be a good way to get a little bit of extra damage out, which is safer as well. The other 2 whip talents for Ariel, to get a lot of real advantage out of them, you have to be a little bit closer than you'd like to be. Repeated Offense, also an interesting pickup there. Buffing that Detainment Strike, getting the extra damage on the stuns. Bursting Light, being able to get the cooldown down so you can get even more of that sustained healing going out, and especially paired with Reservoir to be able to slowly but surely get more and more into those Ray of Heavens. Blinding Flash, always good against Falstad, always good against Sylv, good against Zarya as well. Crystal Aegis, we saw a lot of really clutch Aegises come out on Rio just at the right time. Of course, love to see Shield of Hope for the extra sustain at the end there. Alarak, I'm not the biggest Alarak expert yet. I've still got a lot of studying to do on him. Applied Force, gonna see. We had double cross for the extra Discord strike range, which was really nice. He hit a lot of those silences really, really nicely. Saw some value out of Counter-Strike, being able to turn a lot of those fights, especially when you have a sustained team that is going to be able to get you through taking a little bit of that damage. The burst heals aren't too bad off of that, but most of the game is about sustained right now. So, and we saw pretty solid numbers also from Alarak. I mean, you look at the hero damage, kind of ridiculously close for for what you consider the 3 DPS nowadays. Tyrande a lot of times played as your second support, but actually turns out to be more damage oriented with Owl build, but actually going for Ranger's Mark, wanting to reduce the cooldown and be able to blow people up more often. The range of Lunar Flare for the extra denial. Got a lot of value Starfalls that was very brilliantly placed by Amon throughout the match. Overflowing Light, a very standard pickup for when you're at high health. Does more healing on your Q. Ranger, going to get the extra Sentinel damage and width, making it even more impactful for denial. And Nexus Frenzy to just get more damage, just straight up more damage. Tyke going with a pretty standard build. We see a lot of a couple of grenade upgrades, but mostly just that's the stuff in the rhythm. Press the advantage, very common. But good solid play out of Supreme Force that game. The lasers I felt like were really, really impactful. Seasoned Marksman for Falstad, so going more of the auto attack oriented throughout the match. Very, very nice gusts coming out to stall, and Giant Killer coming out as well. Very nice against tanks, but we didn't really see the double tank on the other side. But I'll admit I'm not the biggest Falstad expert. I'm not sure what else is really available at 13, but would get some value, of course, against at least ETC. Zarya also not somebody I'm super familiar with. Didn't see a whole lot of value gravitation surges, but I admit I was not looking for them very often. Not something I was focused on, but it did seem like a lot of the time. I Like Your Smile was pretty well stacked up, and I don't know how much gravitation surge really affected that. You would think it would be very impactful against a team that's trying to stack up for Ariel. I honestly don't recall exactly how many times it was hit or how impactful it was in that match. Pretty standard build coming out from Agrippa for Johanna. Going with that Burning Rage against something you would expect from a team that's stacking up a lot to get a lot of value. But got in a little bit deep a few times. That's kind of Johanna's job. But they got blown up in a lot of those situations because of Tyrande and that Hunter's Mark, where they just you go in too deep and you don't have the sustained heals. I also think that a big part of that would have been Twilight Dream. I used to be, when Malfurion started coming back, I'm a support main. I played a lot of Tranquility. I thought that was the right way to go. But we see a lot more teams, a lot more players going Twilight Dream, because it's just so impactful in being able to help sustain your team. I know that sounds weird against Tranquility, but you precast all of those Qs, getting those heals constantly coming up, and then you walk in close enough to hit people, at least the frontliners, but a lot of times even more than that with Twilight Dream, and it buys your team a couple precious seconds of getting those tick heals off, as well as being able to damage and turn a fight. And with ETC being so far in with Stage Dive, and this team stacking up so much for those Ariel heals, you'd think those Twilight Dreams and those few extra seconds, especially if they're followed up by a Wailing Arrow to give even more duration to that silence, would have been really, really huge. And Sumo going with a pretty standard Sylvanas build. I really like Will of the Forsaken at 13. A lot of people also go with the extra wave for the extra AoE, or for the extra PvE damage, but it's not a super PvE oriented map. And with the CC on the other side, I can definitely see where Will of the Forsaken would get a ton of value. Really against any ETC, but also Tyrande, Ariel. Definitely Will of the Forsaken. Very nice pick there. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for me. Thank you very much for joining me here. As always, pretty good channel to follow if you're looking to see more Chair League. I do cast as often as I can. I admit I have not been casting for Chair League as much as I would like to lately, but that is bound to change sooner or later. I'll be able to get back into it a lot more often. I got a few matches coming up tomorrow. Got one that I'm scheduled for beforehand, but I'll see about maybe picking up that early Division 3 game if nobody else has picked it up at 4:40. And then I'll be coming back tomorrow night with a Pro Division match, which I believe is the Lizard Wizards at 8:20 versus the Can't Wake Up. So that should be a really good one in the evening tomorrow night. And we're also playing tomorrow night at, I believe, 6:40. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. So thank you very much for joining me, guys, and I hope you all have a good night.